Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. I recently posted on my Instagram that I was going to be doing an anonymous Q&A and you guys are freaking nosy, okay? You guys are nosy little Nellies, but I'm obviously here to tell you everything. I came up with kind of a rough outline of the things that I wanted to talk about and obviously the things that you guys asked me. So I tried to put these in sections just so that there's a little bit of structure to this video. But I was actually pretty shocked at the amount of questions that I got, especially involving not only religion, but also my marriage. So I'm gonna tell you guys everything and let's just jump right into the video. Okay, I typed these up on my computer, so don't be alarmed if I look away. And also just shout out to those of you that submitted questions, because obviously if no one submitted or asked me anything, I wouldn't be making this video. Also, don't comment on my hair. I tried to do the cute little space buns and they are not even, and I'm very aware of it. We don't need to talk about it. Okay, the first section is gonna be more personal and kind of revolving around my faith journey. A lot of people asked if I was still Mormon, if I wear my garments, and kind of how my perspective of the Mormon church has evolved over time. And this can be a really complex and deep, I could talk about this for hours, honestly. There are things that I really love about the church and things that I don't love about the church. And I don't think there's one perfect religion out there. I hope that's not controversial to say. I love a lot of the basics that the church teaches. I wholeheartedly believe that families can be together forever. I obviously believe in God. I still consider myself, I was about to say Christian. I still consider myself Christian, and I just want to be a good person. I want to do good and I want to be good, and that is my goal in life. And obviously there are things about the church that I don't love. I'm not going to get into specifics on that at this current moment. I love the church and I love the people that are still in the church. I love people that have left the church. Everyone has such a unique story and I'm still kind of trying to figure out mine and where I stand right now. But currently, Hans and I don't go to church. So that's kind of all you really need to know right now. We don't really go to church. But I'm so grateful that I grew up in the religion and the things and values that it has taught me. I think we'll just leave it at that. Okay, we're going to talk about my marriage for a little bit. So someone's asked, what is the real secret behind being married to Hans for 9 years? And what's one piece of marriage advice that you wish you had heard earlier? Hans is a really good communicator. I personally, this is where kind of opposites attract. He is really good at communicating, and if we ever get into a disagreement, he is very much wanting to resolve it right then and there, whereas I kind of retreat and recluse, and I need time by myself to kind of like gather my thoughts and have some space before we hash it out. And so I think those are like a really good combination of the things. And it sounds so cheesy to say, but communication is so important. And I also think you need to be like, show the qualities that you are looking for in another person, like be the partner that you would like to have. And I think every day there's a chance for us to grow and evolve and forgive. And Hans and I are both very ambitious. We're both very hungry when it comes to success. We don't care about being rich in money, but we care about being rich when it comes to experiences and the people that we meet and rich in relationships. And that is something that I love about him. And obviously you should like the person that you're with, because I hear some people talking about the person that they're dating or the person they've been with for however long, and I kind of have the thought where it doesn't sound like they like them very much. So that's always interesting. So like the person that you're with. You can't love someone else if you don't love yourself. And I think who you choose to end up with is a direct reflection of you, your confidence, your self-worth, all the things. Oh, and as for the secret to being married for 9 years, I don't know. Hans and I are not perfect. I also want to throw that out there. We definitely have our fair share of disagreements. We went through a period of time where we were really struggling financially, and that really took a toll on our marriage as well, because personally for me, nothing stresses me out except money. Like if we're running low on money, if I feel like we're not going to be able to pay our bills, or if we're going to have to kind of ration certain things out, that's the only time I really get stressed. So there was a few years where Hans and I were really living paycheck to paycheck, and that was tough. And every marriage has its hardships. There are so many different issues that go on in people's marriages that you don't really know about. But yeah, Hans and I, we don't really fight unless we're struggling financially. So I'm really glad we're past that point in our lives. The next section is going to be about content creation in YouTube. Someone had asked me why I decided to start vlogging. My real passion in life has always just been capturing, I always say this, but capturing those cute and candid moments, whether it's with my couples, because if you're new around here, I'm a full-time wedding and elopement photographer, and I love my job so much. And I just love like capturing the moments that maybe would have gone unnoticed if not noticed otherwise, if not captured otherwise. Yeah, whether it's with my couples or with my friends or having my friends take pictures of Hans and I, there is just so much love to be captured. And I know it sounds cheesy, but even the most ordinary of days you can make special and beautiful, and that's just kind of my goal and what I try to do every day with my job. And as for YouTube, I noticed that TikTok and Instagram were kind of giving me anxiety, and I personally have been loving more long form content, especially when it comes to YouTube. And I think it's so much more fun to be able to tell a story in like 15 to 20 minutes versus watching a 30-second TikTok and feeling like I'm constantly chasing, you know, the dopamine hit and adrenaline rush, things like that. So long form content has had my heart for quite some time, and it's so fun to kind of put all my clips together, pick out what music I want to add, and just tell a story in a longer format. Someone asked if I ever feel weird vlogging in public and how do I get past it. You just have to not care. And obviously you got to read the room. You got to have basic social cues. If it's appropriate to vlog or if it's not that big of a deal, obviously I'm going to do it. But if we're in like a more secluded area or there's less people around, because if there's a million people, no one's really noticing you. But obviously if we're at a restaurant, I'm not going to pull out a ring light, you know, like that would be unnecessary. I am also really lucky when it comes to my friends. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Someone asked about how to have a good solid friend group, which I'm very lucky with. You just have to be able to not be embarrassed in public. And it's like, if you want it bad enough, you're going to do it and you're going to figure out a way to get it done. Or you can just go to places where it doesn't matter if there are people around, or go somewhere where there are no people. Again, you can make even the most daily tasks fun and important. I also am fortunate because I am not the type of person that gets embarrassed easily. Like I've just never had that personality where I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I didn't say that, or why did I do that? Or hopefully they don't think I'm weird. Like that has rarely been a thought in my mind. And I'm like, yeah, this is my job and my passion and I want to do it, so I'm going to do it. That's kind of my thought process with that. Okay, last question. What camera gear and editing tools do you use for photography and for YouTube? So I use a different camera for shooting weddings versus vlogging. The camera I'm using right now is a Sony ZV-1M2, and I love it because it shoots in 4K. The video quality is amazing. You can adjust the color grading. There's lots of different ways that you can kind of tweak your clips to look the way you want. That's all I use for vlogging, and then I edit my vlogs on Final Cut Pro, which is a video editing software, and I love it so much. And I just recently upgraded my MacBook. I was previously using a MacBook that I got in like 2015, and I just got the 2025 MacBook Pro, and I got the one that has 2 terabytes of storage, and it is amazing. I love it so much. And as for shooting weddings, I shoot on a Canon R6. I'm personally a Canon girl through and through. I love the coloring. If I didn't shoot Canon, my next choice would be Sony. And I shoot, like I said, on a Canon R6 with a 35mm lens, and then I have a Canon R as a backup, also with a 35mm lens. Also with wedding photography, I do have a Canon Speedlight flash. It's the 430EX RT3, I think, and it's the best flash ever. All right, we're gonna get kind of into some reflective questions. Someone said, how do you balance sharing your life online while keeping parts of it private? It's funny because I realized the other day that Hans isn't in a ton of my vlogs, and I was like, oh my gosh, are people gonna think like I don't like my husband? But he also works a ton, so he kind of gets to work while I get to play. It's a really great balance. Highly recommend. It's just figuring out what you're comfortable with. And if you are questioning on whether or not you should share something, maybe you probably shouldn't. Like, your gut's never gonna lie to you. So I personally love sharing moments with my friends, or if I'm doing a fun activity, going on a trip, going out of town. Like, I just went to St. George with one of my best friends, Javi, and it was amazing. And that's literally the whole vlog. So I think you just kind of have to figure out what you want your niche to be and what you want your content to be, and kind of have that be the overlining theme throughout all of your videos. And also, when it comes to keeping things private, someone was very sweet and asked, how has life been post miscarriage? I, a couple years ago, was pregnant with twins, and I miscarried just before 12 weeks, and it was very, very sad, not to put a damper on this video. I feel like so morbid answering this question. Not that the question is morbid at all, but they asked, how has life been? And it's been fine. Is that horrible? I definitely grieved for like the first couple months, but I feel like I don't really give myself a lot of time to mourn and mope about those things. Even though it was very traumatic, I don't really think about it that much. And I don't know if that's like a coping mechanism or what it is, but life has been good. It's amazing right now. Hans and I aren't trying to get pregnant currently, and we definitely still want kids, but we're in no rush. Someone said, have you ever thought about quitting photography? And the answer, have I ever thought about it? Yes. But am I going to? No. I definitely am in a position where I don't need to be doing photography as my full-time job. Again, I'm very lucky and very blessed with where we're at right now. I feel like last year photography was definitely more of a job, more of a chore. It was very routine. I had so many shoots a week, and I think last October I had 12 weddings alone. And it was very busy, and it got to the point where I was so burnt out. I didn't enjoy it, and that's why I love the winter months, because I can kind of take a step away because it's slow season. And now I'm at a point where I feel like I can be a lot more intentional with what I shoot, who I shoot, and when I shoot, and it's an amazing feeling. And I've taken on significantly less weddings this year, which I'm very excited about. And I also have raised my prices, so I can kind of be a little bit more picky on what couples I want to work with, even though I love all my couples. I want to preface with that. And yeah, I can kind of just do what I want to do when I want to do it, instead of going through the same routine and motions every single time that I'm shooting a wedding. Someone said, what's something people assume about you that totally isn't true? I have no idea what people assume about me. I don't think people are thinking about me on a daily basis, and if they are, that's none of my business, honestly. I try to really not care what people think about me, and by try really hard, I mean it's also not a thought. I don't know. I am so caught up right now in like creative projects that I don't even have time to think about other people's opinions of me. And if they don't like me, they just don't understand me. Or if they think they know me and they haven't talked to me in 2 years, they don't know who I am. All I care about is my husband, my friend group, and eating really good food. I think that's pretty much everything. Someone said share a truth bomb. I don't know. A truth bomb. This is literally not a truth bomb, but maybe just a fun fact. Hans and I are hitting 10 years of marriage next year, and we're gonna go to Croatia, and it's gonna be so fun. We've already started looking at hotels, and we're trying to decide what dates we want to go. We are also going on another trip. I think we're going to go to Cancun later this year, and we found a really beautiful all-inclusive resort, and I've never done an all-inclusive resort, so if you have any tips, let me know. But I think we already found the resort, and it was so sweet. I posted about it on my Instagram. If you're not following me, you totally should. This travel agent reached out to me and recommended this resort that I had already been looking at, and so I was like, oh my gosh, perfect, it's a done deal, it's happening. And I've been stalking their Instagram, and I'm just so excited because Hans and I haven't done a trip since, oh, that reminds me of another question that I forgot to write down. But Hans and I haven't done a trip since we went to Italy back in 2023 for Anna and Enzo's elopement. And someone did ask me, it was something along the lines of what's the most memorable wedding you've ever shot? And that was definitely when our best friends Anna and Enzo flew us out to Rome so that I could shoot their wedding. And it was the coolest experience ever. We stayed in Rome for the first few days. Then we went to Positano and the Amalfi Coast, and it was so cool. They got sealed in the Rome Temple, and we also got to be in the Rome Temple for their sealing, which was insane. Yeah, then we took pictures at the temple, outside the Colosseum. We went to the Trevi Fountain, and then, like I said, we went to the Amalfi Coast, and it was so fun, so beautiful, and their gelato is incredible. They had a Nutella gelato that I think about, I'm not kidding, on a daily basis. I love anything Nutella based, and I cannot wait to go back. Next time we go to Europe, I think we want to do more of northern Italy, like if we do the Dolomites, Tuscany, I can't talk, kind of more of the countryside of Italy. I think that would be really beautiful. When we did Rome, it was super fun, but it was very busy, very touristy. We were very much obviously in the city. We were in Rome. I think it would be a lot less overwhelming and overstimulating. Like, you'd be shoulder to shoulder with people in Rome. Not that that's a bad thing, but it was very busy and chaotic. But no regrets, still 10 out of 10. Most memorable wedding ever. That's also the only international wedding I've ever done. But yeah, that one was definitely one for the books. All right, I think that's gonna do it for me this week, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. If you're a fellow creative or a fellow YouTuber, I'd love to know what gear you shoot on. Or if we have anything in common. If you've been to Italy, let me know where we should go next time. Or if you've been to Croatia, please let us know where we should stay, or must-dos, must-sees in the comments, because I need all the help I can get. And remember, I upload new vlogs every Sunday, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Talking bullshit.